Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be looking at creepiest things that have happened to people. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Taking the trash out at night. Super remote area, so I know for a fact we're the only ones around here. Getting close to the road, I hear very clearly, "Help me," from a female voice. Even though there's such a slim chance of there being another living person around, I still feel like I should look around and check it out in case I wasn't just hearing things and someone actually needs help. Take about 2 steps in the direction I thought I heard it, hear a giggle in the same exact voice. Turn around and walk promptly back up the driveway because screw that. Anyone who actually needed help wouldn't be laughing, I don't think. I'll be so scared. I would piss myself, honestly. Yo, imagine going to help someone and then you hear them giggle. It's a trap. It is a trap. Why would they do that, honestly? Like, what if someone actually needs help and now they make people scared to help someone? You know what I mean? Like, because someone reads this, now they're gonna be thinking, oh my gosh, what if it's a trap? Really? I was working on my motorcycle in a dirt lot where I had crashed it trying to do a sick drift, breaking off the clutch lever and the gear shifter. I had brought a wrench set with me and I was using one of them to take off a bolt when I put it down on the ground to finish unscrewing the bolt with my hand. 2 minutes later, I went to pick it back up and it was gone. I ran all around this dirt lot looking for it to no avail. Luckily, I had a spare in the car, fixed the bike and drove back to my apartment to shower as I was filthy. I walked in my room and sitting on my desk was the wrench. I was dumbfounded. This is like a horror movie, you know when someone throws out a doll and then the doll is just sitting on the bed? This is exactly that. I think your wrench is haunted. What the heck? He just walked back to his house? Huh? When I was a child, my sister and I were walking home from the park and a man called help. We found an open manhole and could hear the man calling for help, but we could not see him. I was 9 and panicking, thought we should call in to help. My sister 11 had the good instinct to get our parents. When we came back with them, the man was gone. As an adult, I can see the whole thing was a ploy. The manhole right next to the park. It makes complete sense, but is still so creepy. Luckily for the sister. Honestly. See, this is what I mean, you have the heart to help someone, but after experiences like this, you just feel a bit suspicious every now and then when this happens, right? I was about 12 years old and I woke up in the middle of the night needing to take a leak. I walked across the hall to the little bathroom, hit the lights and was about to reach for the toilet when I glanced up and saw a face in the mirror. It was not my face. It was as if someone was on the other side, standing to the right with their face right next to the glass staring at me. I only saw it for the briefest moment, but it is seared into my brain. I screamed and ran out of there to find Dad. Of course, my dad investigated, then calmed me down, or tried to. Eventually, we had a prayer session because I was so freaked out. Eventually, I must have gone back to sleep. This is my biggest nightmare. I think this is a lot of people's biggest nightmare. After watching a horror movie, you avoid the mirror or you try not to look in the mirror because if you look in the mirror, it's gonna be there. This is exactly that. Fast forward to my 30s, I'd forgotten all about the event. One night while visiting, my dad quietly brings it up. Remember that one time you saw a face in the mirror? It suddenly came back to me in a rush of memory, sending a chill down my spine. Yeah, I remember. Well, he said, I sometimes think about that night. He looked down at the floor with a serious expression. I saw it too. He went on to describe exactly what I'd seen. We have no idea what that was. Apparently, when he investigated, he saw it and had a freak out of his own. Apparently, the prayer session was as much for his own nerves as mine. I respect him for keeping that tidbit from me to my 30s, but I kind of wish he'd never told me. That's creepy. But yeah, I understand why he wishes his dad never told him, because then he would just be like, oh, I was just a kid. I was probably just imagining things. But now that his dad told him, he's gonna be like, oh my gosh, that was actually real. What in the world is that? I will throw that mirror out. But we all know in horror movies, when you throw something out, it's gonna come back for you. This is a fear in a lot of us, I feel like. Just like how you're in the shower and you close your eyes, or when you're washing your face, you have that fear that something is watching you. Just like that. This is the scarier one, I feel like. Oh, I feel sick. I don't know, man. I feel sick. I once clocked out of work at 6 p.m. like I always did at the time and began my hour-long train ride home. After I found a seat, I went to sleep and woke up just before my station. How do people do that? Okay, I'm just fascinated. Okay, back to the story. From the station, it is a short bus journey, 10 to 15 minutes to reach home. During the entire journey, I didn't use my phone and I don't wear a watch, so I didn't really notice the time anywhere. When I reached home, my family surprised me with, "You're home early, everything alright?" I look at the wall clock and it is about to be 6 p.m. I was too shocked to understand what happened. Checked other watches, cell phones, etc., and the time is absolutely right. A few days later, the admin emailed us the timesheets for the month, times clocking in and out, and every single day for me was around the same, 6 p.m. So it certainly wasn't me having left work earlier. To this date, I haven't figured out how I gained between 60 to 90 minutes that day. Huh? So they clocked out of work at 6 p.m., but then when they came home, it was still 6 p.m. That's kind of great. What if their family was just screwing with them, you know, they changed all the times? I feel like I would do something like that. 1985, my ex-wife and I were sleeping. There was a small light coming in through the window from a street light, so the room and bed were dimly visible. Our black Pomeranian was at the end of the bed asleep. I dreamt that I woke up, reached down to pet him, and he turned into a glossy black oyster thing which opened up to reveal rows of gleaming glass teeth. I woke up to my ex backpedaling up the bed over the pillows towards the wall. I asked, "What's wrong?" She said, "What is that shiny black clam thing with the teeth at the end of the bed? Where's the dog?" We had had the same nightmare at the same time. This still gives me a chill. Yeah, what happened to the dog? Yeah, what happened? Where's the dog? I am 100% sure I vividly remember a dog that apparently doesn't exist. When I was 16, we lived on the other side of the province, and my uncle had this little Jack Russell named Crew. Crew went missing for several months and then turned up at a humane society over an hour away, and we were all shocked this little dog has made it so far. Anyway, that was almost 20 years ago, and the other day I was talking to my parents and was like, you know, whenever I hear about Jack Russells, I think about Crew and that stunt he pulled. And they had no idea what I was talking about. Insisted my uncle never had such a dog. I must have dreamt it, etc. Honestly, anyone else who would have remembered this dog has been dead for a long time, and I don't even have pictures of my uncle. I have absolutely no way to prove this dog existed, but I'm sure that he did. I feel like their family just don't remember it. That's it. You know? I mean, I'm sure that dog existed too. You know, how do you forget a dog? You don't. You don't ever forget a dog, alright? I was walking my dog and I was almost to the driveway when I looked down for some reason, and I looked back up and I ended up being back at the road about 6 blocks away from where I thought I was. I was so confused, but my dog looked completely fine. What? He just teleported? The dog was like, wow, cool. Of course the dog wasn't complaining. More walkies. What? What's going on? I had just pulled into the parking lot of where I worked and was walking towards the building. It was like 3 in the afternoon, broad daylight. All of a sudden, I heard an ambulance's siren start sounding. Naturally, I looked down the road to try and see the ambulance. I see it approaching and decided to watch it for a bit. It was quickly getting closer, and it was about to pass right by me. However, there was a large SUV waiting to turn out of the parking lot and onto the road, blocking a few meters of the road from my view. The ambulance passed behind the SUV, probably about 50 feet away from me at most, and I vividly remember the siren becoming completely silent in that instant. The ambulance had vanished entirely as it passed behind that SUV. I was so confused. The road did not have many cars on it at that time, and it was broad daylight. I did a triple take and made sure that I didn't just miss it. I had a clear view of the road going both directions, and there was no more ambulance to be seen, no more siren either. I walked up and down the road trying to find it for a solid minute, But nope, it was gone. I was well rested and didn't have a history of hallucinations. It seems dismissible, but I was completely aware of what happened, and I can't explain it to this day. They saw an ambulance just vanish into thin air. Well, they didn't see it, but it just vanished behind the SUV. This would honestly make me think I'm just living in a dream, honestly. You know, this would make me think someone is controlling my life, like I'm in a dollhouse or something. Because how do you see something and hear something and then 1 second later it's just gone? Because normally when you hear a siren, it takes a while to fade away, you know? Like, because the ambulance drives farther and farther away, the sound goes lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. But this one, it just stopped completely. That's scary. My friend was in a nightclub, drunk off her face, when she got an overwhelming urge to tell a stranger that her leg hurts. It didn't. All a bit strange. She ignores it, but it doesn't stop. So she walks up to this guy and says, I know this is crazy, but I've got a huge urge to tell you my leg hurts. I know that's crazy again, sorry. But he bursts into tears. Turns out his dad had just died and they made a pact before that. If there was an afterlife, he would get a message to him saying a totally random phrase so there could be no mistakes, which they decided was, I've hurt my leg. That's mind-blowing. Whoa. Holy. What? I'm just shocked because her leg didn't hurt at all, but she had a random urge to tell someone that her leg hurts. That's something else. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!